stupid thing down and listen to what I'm saying. How many of you, as a child, have heard something similar to this expression, to this start of the conversation? Obviously, I don't mean in English necessarily. How many of you think that was an effective and efficient way to start communication? Not so many, I see. As a child, I've heard that or similar start to a conversation quite often. I come from a family of extroverts, and well, extroverts, meaning they are loud. And this meant that I've heard similar introductions quite often from mother, father, relatives, older relatives. And I would always drop the damn thing. I would always look like I'm listening, but I would not always actually pay attention to what was being said. What I mean by this is the fact that I was actually looking at the person trying to communicate with me. I was actually looking like listening to what he had to say, but I wasn't actually processing what he was trying to communicate. I wasn't really understanding his point. This, growing up, made me analyze the reasons behind this, because I've noticed similar things in university, in high school, and later in the work environment. And what I mean by similar things is that I would often get caught up in discussions, in controversies, in arguments even, where I felt like I had the better arguments, I had the better, I don't know, technical reasons for being right in that particular discussion, and I wasn't able to persuade the other person of my point, even with the better arguments. Now, having said that, an easy and maybe childish reaction would be to say, well, he's just stupid, he's just dumb, he doesn't understand my reasoning. But I got past that at some point, and I tried to understand why this happens. Why is it that when you have better arguments in a conversation, you can't actually convince the other person of the truth you are actually saying? And I got to the conclusion, if this conversation would have happened in writing, and the third person would have listened to this, would have read actually this conversation, he would give me the rightful benefit of the doubt, and he would understand my arguments, and he would take my side in this story, in this conversation. And it never was clear to me why this happens, until I decided to get past my personal experience and start reading up on the subject of communication. I had some personal experience, like I said, as a child and growing up, but I noticed what was actually happening, but never understood the reasons behind that. And reading up on the subject, I got to a book which described the so-called fight or flight reaction. How many of you have read or know this concept? Okay, quite a lot of you. I'm pleased to see. And what this means for the people who haven't read this particular concept, it's about pre-programmed sort of natural reaction to outside stimulus. This means that you are programmed by evolution to quickly assess a situation and to react very quickly categorize that, input that you're getting and make a decision. Basically, react in either I'm going to stand here and fight the other person if you perceive this is an attack. I'm going to make a run for it, basically, get up and run. Or the third solution is to just freeze. Just, I don't know, play dead, sort of. And I couldn't quite understand how this translated in simple things like discussing a technical subject, but my own experience matched what I was reading, and I tried to understand it more. What actually happens is, if you talk in a certain way, you use a certain body language, you use a certain tone of voice, and obviously each of us is different and reacts differently to... Each of us has different thresholds, let's say. Basically, if myself coming from a loud family of extroverts, my threshold was quite high to tone of voice, to possibly aggressive behavior. Let's say, I don't know, somebody comes from a family where everybody talks like the person at the corner store. Okay, thank you for coming, see you next time. Equal tone of voice and not much expressivity, not much variation in what is being said. And here comes Adi Salasan and yells something. He's immediately either gonna say no, 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 or he's not gonna say it, but he's gonna think it, feel it, and behave accordingly. Basically, he's going to ignore my arguments and just put his fingers in his ears and react like la la la, can't hear you. So what I encourage everybody to try and do and to take home from tonight's speech is what's important in communication. It's not always to be factually precise. It's not always to be elegant. It's not always to look smart and informed. What's most important is to speak a language and to speak in a way where that the person you're speaking to can understand. And this means ultimately you can get your point across. Thank you.